Okay, so I think I remembered to turn on my microphone this time. Uh, good. It's always confusing, man. Good morning. Here's morning. So, good morning, Yuzuki, and good morning, Max. Excuse space ease. I bet it's Max. Alright, Max cute. Alright, cute. Congrats on being free. Yeah, actually not totally free. This is what I want to talk or complain. Depends on the aspect you see now. And it is so weird. So basically, let's check the calendar. Today is July 4th, which is July? Well, I still feel like it is like the beginning of May. And if I go back, I don't have any memory in April. So since my memory of April is blank, my memory of May is chaos. I feel like it is in the beginning of May, probably the middle of May. So it seems like I have about 3 weeks shifting. And yeah, I do have some tasks need to do right now, but it definitely is more relaxed comparing with the life before the semester's end. So here's the thing, like what I want to say, like what actually happened in the school, or probably it is probably actually the question that almost all people who are interested in aerospace engineering would ask. Like, okay, you like rockets, you like satellites, you like probes or rovers in Mars, on the moon, something like that. So you started to find and play games like Kerbal Space Program 2, which is not published yet, and something like how do you like it, like an Elon Musk, or like Universe in Box, or what do we have? Probably like EVE, the space engineer, something like that. And you learn some knowledge about engineering and probably history or stories of aerospace. And eventually you build something in a game, and wow, it works, it flies. It can bring your mind to explore the world, the universe in the game. And now you started to think what actually the aerospace people in the aerospace engineering area do. And that is actually what I'm facing, because it's like I'm interested in aerospace engineering, but I really get into this area before I have a strong realization about it. So it's like, how do I say? It's like you get in an area before you realize about it. It's just like entering a museum. It's just like entering a museum, and before knowing what do they have in a museum, it's like, wow, you're expecting to watch some like classic paint, but actually it is a museum that let you see a lot of aggressive design of buildings, something like that, but more notorious. So I need to be dragged back to the end of the winter vacation. Our semester started on the end of January, and and because well, I think a lot of my audience already know, but probably some of them doesn't know. I'm actually studying aerospace in one place in a country that I had ever sent mankind to the moon. So in the beginning of the 2 weeks, the class was remotely because the fire and the COVID. So we had about half a month of online classes, which is weird because here, the place I am have already like almost all the students have taken at least 2 doses of vaccine. So they actually cancel the requirement of wearing a mask in the campus. In May, no, in March probably. So it's like, man, after about 2 weeks, I have already forgotten the feeling that wearing a mask on a face. So so glad to see the daily life is returning to like 2019 when. Before everything started to go wrong. Yeah, at first it feels like it's fine, but then the load started to coming on. I took about 3 classes per semester. Last semester. It sounds like not a lot, because like when we talking about the credit per semester, undergrad, it's like, okay, you can probably have like 18 to 24 or even like 27 or 30 credits per semester while you're undergrad. But in the grad school, our department have a recommendation that don't take credits more than 12 per semester. That actually is 4 classes. So, but actually, the reality is like you always have other things to do. So, if you are taking 3 classes per semester, you are going to have a really tough time, and especially like the load of the classes are different. So it's like if you're taking 1 heavy load class and 2 easy class, it will be just right. But for it, like I took 2 hard classes and 1 troublesome but not that hard class last semester. And that totally ruined my life during last semester. So 1 class is about dynamic and how the spacecraft detect its attitude and how do they control them to stabilize and point their attitude to the proper requirement, which is, well, I did not have any. Hey David, long time no see. Well, I'm so glad to chat with you guys at this time. Like, man, I still feel like I have a blank of my mind. So let's go back to the semester. So that class is about dynamic, and actually I have no background of dynamic. Well, I was undergrad, because my undergrad was basically about what the hell did I do while I was undergrad? Well, I just forgot it. So yeah, like every summer vacation and winter vacation, my task is using about 2 weeks to forget everything I got during the semester. So the truth is I have no background of dynamic. So we started from frames like the DCM. What is DCM? Direction constraint matrix, which is to claim the frame, the difference between two frames, and actually the professor said the main concept of attitude control is the thing that you control has its own frame. They call it body frame, and you can casually take other one or two frame as a reference frame and the target frame, whatever. And basically the core of dynamic and control is just tracking the difference between two frames and try to let the body frame be the same as any kind of frame you want. And this took us about our semester. And demolish it, привет. Ted, I'm glad you're here. So this is I actually wanted to do this podcast or live stream, whatever. I even cannot say it's a live stream because basically I'm just here and chatting with you guys. Probably a podcast, whatever. I actually need to plan to do this 2 weeks after the semester ends, or 1 week. That is I have this thing to do, I have that thing to do, so eventually delay, just like Starliner. It's when you are having a relationship with aerospace engineering, delaying will be very normal in your life. So I was asking because I'm really not a person who like to do plans or write the plans now, so I really don't know when the semester ends. And I was asking the professor when the semester ends. Oh, it's May 4th. Oh, May 4th was with you. This speech actually came from my mind intuitionally, because it's May. Oh, it's May 4th. Oh, May the 4th be with you. I'm kind of a Star Wars fan. I'm not my favorite, but I hate it, and I'm interested in it. It's oh, May the 4th be with you. I suspect every student and professor in the aerospace department, in the aerospace department here knows Star Wars. It's whatever. It's here is famous. So yeah, delaying a whole month delaying, and so basically realizing the different ways to express dynamics took about half a semester, and that is actually one thing that is very interesting, because if you are a person who is not in the aerospace engineering field, you will feel if you ask a casual person, what does aerospace engineering do? What does space exploration do? They will say, oh, probably rockets, launch vehicle, space shuttle, probes, and probably astronauts. So their mind will more or less close to the mechanical and the biological stuff. The astronaut or cosmonaut or taikonaut are in the space, so we need to take care of them, and they are human. They are so we need to use some biology knowledge, to tell the difference between human living on the Earth and the space. And okay, there are rockets, there are fuels, there are turbines, there are engines, there are radars, and those of them, because you can they are vehicles which are operated directly. So, the intuition tells us like, okay, the aerospace is more or less related to the biology stuff and the mechanical stuff. And that's actually, the very top layer. But actually behind them, the control law, the physics, the chipset, the math hidden behind them are also important. Because like, okay, let's have an imagination. So ULA or whatever, SpaceX just send you a rocket which is fully assembled. You just need to fill in the fuel and the oxidizer, and it can be launched. But it has no programmed chipset inside it, and you need to design a system that could guide itself to the LEO. And that starts to be a problem because, like, okay, it's not KSP. Okay, you can do it in a KSP, but it's not like using your keyboard to control the rockets simultaneously, because the communication before probably you and the rocket takes time, and you are not as accurate as a flight computer, so you need to program it. And programming, well, that's another word. Before programming, you need to know how the physics and math work. And it's like, they are important, but for those people who are not in this kind of field, probably this is a little bit too far away to the aerospace and their imagination. And that's a problem. It's like, okay, after the whole semester, I think, like, I want to be like, hey, aerospace is very cool. It's interesting. So I'm very willing to like share what I've learned in it. But actually, I mean, looking back from this position, it feels like, okay, the only thing I can share and probably is still interesting is about like what is the difference between like what is an injury the astronaut will probably suffer comparing they live on the Earth. Control system are key. Yeah, they're key. Imagine how they did all day with analog computers. Yeah, analog computers, like, it works, so it will still work today. I mean, yeah, Soviet, the USSR can send the satellites and the astronaut in the 50s, the late 50s, the beginning of 60s. So why don't we just use the same technology to send them? I would say in the end of the semester, like closing the end of the semester, my professor said it's like, okay, I know, you will probably say the PID control could solve about 90% of the problem in your life, but actually, PID are not that reliable. Yeah, a lot of control engineers like to use PID or other like LQR control, something related to the frequency domain, which, well, if somebody doesn't understand what I'm talking about, that's fine, because like even me, to image things, to imagine things in the frequency domain is still like, you cannot feel like it is related to the real world physics. But he's like, okay, now a lot of control engineers are like, okay, let's have the math model of this system and turn it to the frequency domain and do some math magic. Okay, here's the chain. Here is a PID or LQR control chain. So problem solved. But it is not actually that safe, because it's stabilized. The system can be stabilized in almost all conditions, but sometimes it will encounter some scenarios that the system will not let it, not that the system could not stabilize it. So it is really nice for like keep digging in advanced control theory, like nonlinear control. Oh man, I hate it. Like finding the Lyapunov theory. Wait, is Lyapunov a Russian? It sounds like his name sounds like he's a Russian. So whatever. Yeah, so that's what he did. But for me, yeah, just like you said, Maxute, if things work, it works. The same technically have already succeed, and they will still be useful in the future. Yeah, we think about Harvard's master to realize a different way to express frames, like Euro angle, quantorium, the MRP CRP. I forgot their name. I just know it's called MRP or CRP, and whatever. A lot of different techniques, and like expressing, like translating the vector between different frames. And then it's midterm, and our professor says like, okay, I did it, and it will take me about 2 hours, so I will give you guys 2 hours to do the exam. And everybody sucked up because 2 hours is too short, and everybody complaining about it. And our professor is like, oh yeah, I did it in 2 hours, and I did it in 2 hours, so I think you guys can do it in 2 hours because I really don't think it's that hard. Man, you are the expert. We are the Padawan. So everybody sucked out. I got about like in the very dangerous zone of failing a class, and then actually the second half of the semester is not that hard. So let's jump back to other 2 classes. Okay, another class is learn about the life in space, like what is different. We need to like search back to the previous research data of how to let the human being become safer and healthier in the space. Yeah, there are a lot of different aspects. I can still remember like some of them are like where you're wearing a spacesuit, your shoulder will be very easy to be injured because because of the design of the spacesuit. And actually a lot of them happening while you are training in the saltwater swimming pool. I forgot its whole name. It's like you know the astronaut will wear a spacesuit and train in a big pool, something like that. And others are like, oh, because the lack of the gravity, the fluid in your body will come up to your head, so the pressure in your head or the top half body will increase, and that will probably increase the probability of damaging the eyes, your vision, something like that. And like every team needs to find fields that you're interested in and research the previous data and deliver a report that concludes what you have searched, and like think about experiments that can be operated in the real world, basically on the ISS. I don't know why they like ISS that much. Probably it is the only platform that they can do experiment in low gravity environments. And I was like, I need sleep. So basically, what I choose with my teammate together was how space affect how astronaut sleeps in the space. And it was like, man, even an astronaut is facing those hazardous environment. They have better sleeping quality comparing with us. Probably because like we are not astronauts, they are astronauts, they are noble. We are here to service astronauts, so we are not able to have as great quality as astronauts. And basically, it's not that hard, so I'll probably save the knowledge in that class and probably in the future progress or future live stream. And another is I really have no idea what it is in our department and in my research field, but it's interesting. It's called how the decision is made under uncertainty situation. So it's more or less like AI. Actually, well, it is related to the AI. So the core concept of that class is about Markov process, which is, or just like its name, it's about the things only affected by the situation and the decision you make right now and in the past. So the future won't affect the process and the situation. And how could I explain it? Alright, it's called Markov process, and it's like a way to model the real world. You're facing several. You're on a track of making a sequence of decision, and the final goal is maximize the reward you get in the final. So but the future won't affect the route right now. So you need to find a policy by your previous experience to find a pathway to make a decision for the upcoming future. And like I told it's just like just like AI, and actually it has some relationship with AI. In the one third of the semester we learned multicolor tree research, and it actually is a technically AlphaGo bit. Wait, what is the AlphaGo? The AI which plays chess better than human. And we are using a new programming language called Julia. I really have no idea because like basically all my programming skills are from MATLAB and Arduino, and that's all I get. So I literally like learning Julia from blank and adding that spacecraft attitude decision and control class. It totally lets me running out of time in the daily life. So it's pretty funny. It's like I studied Julia actually before I studied Python, which I think Python is common. Like everybody. Python is so common nowadays. Just like, well, if you're a student, you should know how to write Python. Julia is an interesting language. I tried it recently. Oh yeah, which environment do you use? Basically, our professor's recommendation is to use VS Code, but some of my classmates use Jupyter Notebook to program it, and I still don't know like how can you program on the browser, because that's how Jupyter Jupyter. That's how Jupyter notebook works. So yeah, then your life is like the professor is giving you some knowledge about our class is about 18 minutes per one lecture, and we have 2 lectures, so it's about like 3 hours. The professor is trying to like feed you knowledge for 3 hours per week, and then of course 3 hours cannot tell a lot, so you need to spend like 10 times of the time you spend in the class and the rest of your life to do that. The space life science one is not as hard. It's just like troublesome. We need to seek a lot of and read a lot of data and think about the experiment. So the final report my teammate delivered was just like, oh, so currently the elimination in the ISS is da, and we suspect if we increase the elimination quality to like using it to simulate like the environment on the Earth more, the astronaut will have a better sleep quality, and that's so. I mean, whatever. I don't care how they did it, because like, come on, I want a better sleep quality. I don't care how astronauts sleep right now. But actually, I think I've told it in the previous live stream that it's like even the astronauts have no task to need to do. They can just sleep as much as they want. In the average, they actually only need about 6 hours to sleep. One research or one what was it? One research or one hypothesis says like it is because in the orbit there's no gravity, so your muscles doesn't need to be as tension as you while you are on the ground. And actually, when you are sleeping, your body will let the muscle to relax. But your muscle doesn't need to work in low gravity, so you don't need to spend that kind of time. So you only need to spend about 6 hours to sleep. It would be nice if you could just make some visualization. Oh yeah, or I think our professor showed us to use Jupyter notebook to show us how to visualize the neural network. And what he did was like training a function to output a sine wave. It's really interesting while you try to visualize it, but actually digging the concept but behind it's really tough. These 2 classes doesn't really have a lot of thing I can talk with. In the space of science, we actually have a peer review to each other's report, and just as I said, the astronaut's shoulder will easily get damaged while wearing the spacesuit, and they said it's because it's the design of the hull of the spacesuit, because it's a hard and tough enclosure to make sure it can maintain the pressure in a spacesuit, like in a part of your main body. And they say that because the size of that hull doesn't fit the astronauts, it will easily let their shoulder to be damaged. So their solution is like we need to manufacture more different sizes of hulls. And then I searched like what is the price of that whole. And they said that it is too expensive that they can only manufacture like some standard size like S, M, L, and XL to let astronauts wear it because they are just too expensive. So I bet it's like the trade-off in capitalism. It's like, okay, just let them get injured. We don't care. We want to save money because we want to save money. Well, very funny. So, that's some of the space life science part, and I forgot. It's like the whole semester of the how the decision is made under uncertainty condition is just like the professor keep telling us what is the algorithm of designing a policy, and the marker design process, like the multiple research is one, the neural network is one, the startup is one. It's like something model based, model free, whatever. And the end of the class are the class like we start to dig into game. The game like chassis and what do we call that? The prisoner's dilemma and the Nash equilibrium, and that's actually that's not the class I have the least confident on it, but actually that is the class I failed originally because I did not did a great job on my final project, and the professor is like, okay, he's like a good people, he's like a good person, but it's like I need to guess he's going to let me pass or not. And at first I got a C-, but in the grad program we need a B- to pass the class. And it was like suffering a high pressure and getting nervous in the first 2 weeks of the summer vacation. And like I wrote an email to the professors like, please, I really try all the things I can do, and if I won't pass this class, I will be in trouble. So eventually thank God he gave me a B-. Well, yeah, that's not the most talkable or the interest experience I got last semester. Still, the most interest part of the semester is the decision, the spacecraft attitude design and deciding what's that? Holy banana! It's a spacecraft attitude decision and control. So just like I said, almost all the class sucked up and during the midterm, and the professor is like, okay, I will give you more time to write the final exam. And I was imagining like, okay, more time, probably like 3 or 3.5 or 4, probably 5 hours, whatever. I think it's like about 3 to 4 hours for the exam. And our professor said like, okay, I will give you 24 hours, a whole day to complete the final. And I was like, oh, be up, because like, if the professor give you 2 hours to write an exam, it will be a little bit tough. If he give you 4 hours to complete it, it will just be so. But if he give you 24 hours, it's like he have confidence, like even whatever you do, you cannot solve the problem, and that actually is the truth. So technically, we are not allowed to we are not allowed to do it with any collaboration, But like our class is like, oh fuck the rules. We just want to pass this class. I don't want to study this shitty stuff again. So actually, okay, let's just talk about what happened before the final. We were studying the Lyapunov stuff, like the concept of finding of how a Lyapunov method could stabilize a system, and finding the Lyapunov function. But finding a Lyapunov function is really a tough task. So it's like whatever. Our final problem the Lyapunov function will be given. So that's not a problem. But actually, in the advanced control field, finding the usable Lyapunov function is actually a very important and a very hard part of controlling a system. Like even finding a usable Lyapunov function could be an important innovation of the control in the control field. And like the last few weeks, we are talking about how the reaction wheel controls the spacecraft, and that is really, the reaction wheel in Kerbal Space Program is useful, but the math hide behind it sucks. It's like, well, one reaction wheel and one axis will actually stabilize that axis, but it will also cause a little perturbation of other two axes, which is freaking annoying. And like in the spacecraft attitude control, it is really a really important part and need to be very precise. Like the satellites, whatever it want to, whatever its purpose is, probably like using its sensor to observe Earth or whatever, Mars, Luna, or using the antenna to communication with other satellites, or like connecting the devices on the Earth, just like Starlink. Game series is a study of consequences, more or less, right? Consequences. Yeah, it is more or less like you are studying based on the current point and the previous experience to try to assume what will happen if you do this kind of decision, and what will happen if you do this kind of decision in the future, and different decisions, different consequences, and more different decisions after those consequences. It will just like form a tree that is really large, and like using some technical or magic to search in that tree in order to find the best result could form or let's see. So the policy is how you find a route in that tree, and the goal is just to find the best result in that tree or in the future. I had some subject with multi-day exams. It feel like actually learn a semester worth material through them. Yeah, it is. What do I say? Yeah, the last few weeks of the semester was about reaction wheel, so it really feels like it's familiar with me. And actually, there is not only a reaction wheel. There's another device called. Let me find it. One is a reaction wheel. Another is. So the reaction wheel is called RW wheel because it's a reaction wheel. Another one is called control moment gyroscope. It's called CMG. So the difference between the reaction wheel and control moment gyroscope is like the reaction wheel is a disc. The disc is spinning, and you are tilting the spinning disc to change the attitude of the to generate a torque on your probe or spacecraft or satellite, whatever you want to say. But the control moment gyroscope is more. It doesn't have a spinning disc. It doesn't tilt the spinning disc. It actually has disc, but what they do is try to rotate the disc directly like a flywheel to add a torque on the craft. Actually, it can generate much stronger torque comparing with the reaction wheel. So this is how the ISS control its attitude by control moment gyroscope. Alright, so then it's almost the end of the semester, and we were like discussing how could we encountered an obstacle the final exam. And it's like I do have some like hardworking classmate in a class. So like at first we did something like fuck the rules. Let's just do it in my home. So other two classmates will be in my house, and we just spend a whole day to do it. And another two are like they're really hardworking. So it's like, geez, I really don't think it's a good idea for us to just like take it in the same place. So let's just use Discord to connect with each other, and if we face some obstacle, we can just like send each other some tips. Well, even those hardworking students wanna collaborate. They just think like coming to the house directly is not a good idea. So let's say just like okay, nah. So on the final weekend, we just like okay, 3 students in the same room, and we just like you do this, I do this. Okay, I like he's doing the part A, like 30% he start. So it's like, okay, now it's time for me to progress about 30% to 60%. Okay, I stopped. So the 60% stuff is translated to the third one, and he's going to finish the rest of them. And we started about 10, and well, it's 2, it's already 4 hours, and it's like, oh, I feel like it's just 1 or 2 hours past. And the funny thing is here. So while it's about 3 p.m., we got a message on Discord. Those 2 hardworking students like, I still think it's better I think it will be better if we have a decision. Could you come to my house? I ordered some pizzas. Like, oh yay! So well, the result is good because like okay, he has some unfinished problem which is finished by us during the morning, but we didn't really stuck in some, and he's like, all right, I want to do it from the end of the exam to the first of the exam. So he's already completed. So we spent about 3 hours to check each other's result. Like our brain need to be shut down for a little while. So we took a walk outside of the house. It was like it's actually the most scary casual walk in my life, because it's like, we are classmates in that class, and if the professor of that class just popped out on the street and seeing us like having a walk together, we will be in trouble because it will be really tough to explain like why we are together, because technically we are not supposed to be together. Yeah, so after that walk, it's like the rest of our task is like make sure our result seems like it is done independently. Unfortunately, actually what I like to do is to keep the way I solve the problem with my own style. Like I like to use some specific color to say it is important. Like for some really important operation while solving a problem, I will just like underline it with a red pen and put an arrow on it and write a reference equation or formula on the right hand side, something like that. And another person would like to use pencils. I still don't know. I still think like pen is better than pencil because probably a lot of people know I'm lazy, and actually pencil, when you're writing something, you need to use force on your finger to push to actually literally press a pencil on the paper in order to make it darker. And that is really like, while doing that kind of action about 10 minutes, my hands will feel tired. So but the pen doesn't have that kind of issue. You just put the pen on the surface of the paper, and the capillary will just suck the ink out. I hate the sound pencils make. Well, pencil is still. I still need pencils. Like I have 2 pencils in order to draw the engineering pictures, because they are relatively easier to correct comparing with a pen. And okay, our final decision is like, okay, I just deliberate and pray. And another says like, I want to do a final check tomorrow morning. So basically, I just spent about 14 hours on the final, and I got a B minus. So it's like, actually, that is one of the first class I'm sure that I'm passed. So basically, that at the beginning of the summer vacation was like worrying another class whether the professor will let me pass or not. And CAD model is even more easy to correct. That makes sense because that like control plus Z, that control plus Y, that. But before I was like modeling stuff on the CAD, I still like to draw it on a paper. And yeah, I can just like the first once I'm sure I passed all the classes, I was like, yeah, could you no. Like what do I say? I was like, yeah, could you like I have some math to do, so I asked my roommate, yeah, could you just calculate for me, or if you can't, I'll just ask Harry. And I was like, man, it's just plus and minus. I said, I know, but I refuse to use my brain. I use my brain enough in the previous master. And yeah, I still refuse to use my brain now, but it's after about a whole month, so I feel a little bit guilty for not keep using my brain. I think probably it is why they set summer vacation for about four for 4 months. 4 months. But it's like if they expand the semester 2 months longer, like let the summer vacation start from July, I really don't think we will have a painful experience. But whatever, probably, I mean, the main job of a professor is not teaching us, is doing the research. So they need time. And what I think is like they just literally don't care what we feel. Actually, my department, the aerospace department here has the largest suicide rate. And fortunately, our department only has 4 floors. Every building in the campus higher than about 8 floors, the windows are blocked by the grid because they are worried about there used to be too much students just jump down because they're having a tough life. And yeah, I even cannot relax during the vacation. It's like, oh yeah, it's not the vacation you had in the undergrad. Oh yeah, there's no, what's that? What is a homework or assignment you need to complete during the summer vacation? Summer vacation homework, summer vacation assignment, whatever. It's not like elementary school. You no longer have that kind of task. So it's like you're totally free. Just wake up whenever you want and go out for eat something and play online games until you're tired about it and just go just sleep. Well, even now I think like I don't want to play online game. Like why? Because I refuse to use my brain. On some aspects, playing computer games still need to use your brain. So I'll just like keep browsing some funny and stupid video on the internet for a while. And yeah, it's not like the vacation you had while you're undergrad or you was in the high school, or actually even some student in high school doesn't have any kind of summer vacation or winter vacation now because they need to go to school and study during the vacation. So like in the place I came from, from the country I came from, actually, during the summer vacation, you need to go to the school for half a day instead of a whole day to study. Sometimes one just wants to be a vegetable. Well, I heard that there's a word called couch potato, and I want to become a couch potato, but is potato a vegetable? Whatever. They said, okay, potato is grown from soil, so it's kind of vegetable. And ketchup is made from tomato, so ketchup is a kind of fruit. Okay, so French fries plus ketchup. Look, salad. That makes sense, but that totally makes no sense. So the vacation is not like you were undergrad or in the high school, cause my boss want me to help him with some project, and this project, ironically, what I can assist the project is basically solid working and AutoCADing. Those are all called CAD, but CAD is a kind of SolidWorks is also a kind of CAD, but since there's a software just called AutoCAD directly, it's really hard to tell. Like when you're talking about CAD, a lot of people just like, oh, AutoCAD. But I actually don't like the logic of using AutoCAD because, well, I'm studying with SolidWorks. SolidWorks is best. It's the best 3D engineering modeling software in the world. I don't say modeling because I do know some modeling software is used for modeling, like for through a 3D model of the character in an online game, something like that. Any edible part of a plant is vegetable. Fruits are vegetables too. Okay, I thought that's kind of clear definition. So, yeah, basically the whole May I was like AutoCADing and solo working and try to deliver some model my boss wanted me to design, and I really wanted to show it or like doing live stream while I was working, because basically I was still staying in front of my computer and operating it with the software. But the problem is like it's there are so much stuff that I cannot show, and if accidentally I showed, I'll be in trouble. So probably I will add some filter to let it become blur. Well, next time probably I want to do this. Oh yeah, so it's really left thing I need to do before I mean about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and finally it's like okay, let's have a recall of last semester and keep moving on. And yeah, that's done. So moving on, I could probably spend some time, just like literally some time for gaming, but the schedule will be tough. So that is actually I never make a schedule because everything could be going wrong. So if there's no schedule, there's no following schedule, I can just do it when I have time. I promise I'm trying back to have time to like doing live stream or actually uploaded video. I am trying to learn how to cover some classic songs from Soviet Union recently. I'm trying to make other music video and other MVs this year, and well, the voice part is done, so I'll let my friends to do the rest part of it, and how it will progress well. Alright, so it seems to be like actually I have no idea about what can I do for next live stream. We'll see. 我在思考做都拿救援剧情时，要不要把通讯时它呈现出来？因为最近还有7000万公里。Ted, sometimes while Earth and Mars are blocked by the sun, like literally they are on the 12 o'clock side and the 6 o'clock side in the solar system, the communication will be totally blocked by the sun. And do you want to simulate it even in Kerbal Space Program? Like if Duna and Kerbin are literally blocked by the sun, there could not be communication. I really don't think, because like it's not. If you want to stay more close to the reality, for rescuing, like if you want to rescue the Kerbins on Duna, I think the better way is just like let some crew and probes or rovers or whatever to Duna and just let them do their own decision, and communicate the progress and the results with Kerbin. So I really don't think yeah, you can, but I really don't think the time gap would affect the whole mission. Alright, I think that's all. Basically, yeah, it's just about sharing and actually, let's face it, it's complaining. But like eventually I have time, and I still have a lot of things need to do during the summer vacation, and after that, I mean, I really don't want to face the next semester, but I need to face it. But let's stay positive. I've already got about more than half the credits I have to get in the whole program. So let's see if the life will be easier in the next semester. But it's like, it's 2 semesters. Time passed so fast. I mean, yeah, I want to share like how it is. But wait, when is so my birthday is on March 30. My birthday was on March 23rd, and my 1 year anniversary of having my first live stream is in like Sunday in April, and I don't know, I need to do it like, oh yeah, it's a 1 year anniversary, but it's, you know, whatever. I will pick a day to do it. It's just like, oh, I know, it's already past the first anniversary, and my birthday have already passed, but let's just celebrate it simultaneously in June, whatever. Okay, that's all. I'm really glad to chat with you guys via YouTube. So, alright, I promise. Wait, it takes me for me to do this kind of promise. Whatever. I try to do some more or less like more gaming or not complaint related live stream in the future, and that's possible. Like purely complaining about it and discuss what happened will take about a whole hour, and that's all. I do have other information to share about like what I learned in a space life science class, but it does not fit the theme of this live stream. So let's just save it to the next live stream, I think. And yeah, it's good morning now. So whatever. Good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon. Depends wherever you want. Wish you have a nice day, and I'm looking forward to see you guys in the future live stream. And that's all. Have a good day and bye.